we've arrived at the hotel. Let's just work our way on around where we're going to be meeting the lady we're going to be talking to today. So just kind of walk with me a few minutes here. How you doing? Long distance relationships, a woman's point of view. Today we've got a special guest with us, and we're looking forward to this because I usually have a lot of fun doing the interview. So I'd like to introduce Roxanne to you.
Hi everybody, I'm Roxanne. Nice to meet you all.
Just to give you a little background, I've known Roxanne for quite some time.
Long time.
A very pleasant friendship through the years.
Yes.
And Roxanne in this area is known as being the cook.
Oh, yeah.
She does a lot of catering and everything, so we're often connected with Roxanne at some type of event.
Right.
Today we're going to just be going over a few things that I found that I feel like will be of interest to you, and as you're getting into your long distance relationships and you're going through certain phases, it's a learning process, and this is something that Roxanne's already been through. And look, she survived.
I survived 18 years.
That's right. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your family in the Philippines.
We live in a small province or city, a very small city. It turned into a city now, but it used to be a province. And there's 6 of us in our family. My mom worked abroad, so I got introduced to that. So I worked abroad too in Hong Kong for a few years before I came over here.
You have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big family.
It's fun. And I'm the oldest, so it's not fun.
Understand that. In the Philippines, which island did you live on?
I lived in Mindanao, the southernmost island.
Now, this is a little off of what I was going to talk about, but it's a good spot to ask you about it. I've heard a lot of things about Mindanao not being safe for a lot of tourist travelers. Do you feel that's true? You feel
yes and no.
Okay.
There are some parts in Mindanao that's not safe for foreigners to go to, but in Davao City and Davao Oriental, where I came from, it is very safe.
Okay,
and
you were from Davao.
Yes,
Davao.
and there's a lot of foreigners there who live there.
Yeah, now my understanding is that's where the ex-president was, and he really kind of got everything going there and made it really safe.
It is very safe. You can walk there with your jewelries on, with your purse hanging. Nobody gonna snatch your gold necklaces and whatever. They're scared.
Yeah, there's some parts in the Philippines, if you're walking around, and I found this in Manila a lot, there's a lot of pickpockets.
Yes.
And if you might be talking on a phone or something, somebody will ride by and snatch it right out of your hand.
Yeah, where's my phone? Dude, where's my phone? It's gone.
And we recently did a video on the dangers of visiting the Philippines, and pretty much just give a list of the areas that were a little more dangerous than others. Right. But I also mentioned in the video that should never be a reason that you shouldn't visit the Philippines. Just be cautious of where you are.
And be mindful of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Watch where you're going.
If you say, I'm not going there because it's dangerous, just go to a place that's not dangerous, because the Philippines is awesome. I'm telling you.
It is, and everywhere in the world, there's always danger. You just have to
Very true.
pick the places you want to go visit.
Right. Well, how did you meet your long-distance relationship partner?
He was introduced to me by my friend's husband. So we talked on the phone, long distance, and then we talked for a year.
A year, okay.
And then he decided to come over to the Philippines. And then after he'd seen my beauty, he decided we have to get married right there and then.
See, that's what I'm telling you about the Filipino ladies. They have so much personality, and Roxanne is a great example of that. She just has personality that just captures you right away.
Right. So we got married the day he had to fly out of the Philippines. Can you believe that?
Oh, really?
Yes. We didn't get to have our honeymoon, but bye-bye. He wants to get married.
When he first came there, what did your family think about that?
I think my family have mixed emotions about it. Like
Tell me about that.
Me being away from the family, because you know USA is very far.
Yes.
But also my family is happy for me because they know that there's a lot of opportunities here in America and that we cannot have in the Philippines. So they kind of have a mixed emotions about it.
Has anybody else in your family had a long distance relationship, or?
No, only me.
Only you.
I'm the only adventurous one. Only me.
So, about what year did you first start talking to him? About how long ago was that?
It is way back in 2005.
2005.
Yes, and we got married in 2006, and I got here in 2007.
Well, good. You missed the big hurricane.
Yes. I was worried about that in 2005 because I couldn't contact him for like 2 weeks, and I'm like,
it wiped this area out.
Him?
Yeah, there was just,
and then out of nowhere, he called me. He borrowed somebody's cell phone. Said, "Oh, we have no Wi-Fi, no nothing."
Nothing. Yeah, so it was terrible.
It was terrible.
When you first met him, were you on a dating site, or were you trying to meet somebody, or did it just more or less happen by accident?
I used to be on a dating site, but none of them clicked really. So
Understand that.
I like, okay, I give up. I'm just gonna, take it as it is. And then my friend's fiance came over and said, "Hey, I got somebody I want to introduce you to." So I'm like, "Hey, I'm all for it."
That's cool.
So I'm like, okay. So we started talking, and it went from there.
Well, that's interesting. I've never talked to Roxanne about this, about how she met anything. So I'm learning just like you are at the same time you are. So this is kind of neat. When you first started, were you expecting to meet a foreigner, or did you just think, I hope it happens, or maybe it'll happen?
Yeah, that's just my thing. I'm like, if it happens, it happens, you know? So whatever will be, will be. Que sera, sera.
So he came to the Philippines and met you.
Yes, he came to the
All
Philippines.
Then you got married the day before he left.
Yes, we got married because we didn't anticipate the processing of the marriage license. It takes like 14 days, and his vacation is only 18 days. So he decided that we're gonna get married right there and then, because I thought we're just gonna get engaged when he came over.
Yeah.
So after 4 days, he said, "Well, why don't we just get married?" And I'm like, "Well, you're flying in like 14 days." So we went straight to the municipal city of Mati and applied for the papers. And
was getting the papers pretty quick, or was it slow?
It was really slow. They don't want to, like, can we give you something so you can make it fast? No, you have to do it.
Does the word Filipino time mean anything?
Yes. Like,
a lot of our viewers don't have any idea.
It usually should not take 14 days because once you fill out the paper and pass it through them, it only takes 1 day. How many people does the paper have to go through in order for it to get approved? 14 days, guys. So if you're going to go do that, you make sure you have more than 14 days.
Our viewers aren't accustomed to Filipino time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like everything just goes into slow motion.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I'm always late at parties.
I don't think so.
I'm Filipino time.
I think that goes with everybody, I can tell you. After he came back home, how often were you talking to him?
Every day.
Do you feel like that talking to your partner every day is important?
I think so, because there are days, because of the distance, there are days when you cannot talk, you feel worried about what's going on with him or what has happened to him, if he got into an accident, did he get sick? So it is very important to communicate with each other, even more than just once a day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, or all throughout the day.
I agree with you, and you know, and I mentioned on one of my other videos, things can happen. Like you might be talking every day, and then all of a sudden they don't come.
Right.
And you're wondering, oh, what's happened? You know, and then later you find out maybe they were in the hospital or something, and it had nothing to do with what you were thinking about.
Yes,
you
it's
know,
like
oh my goodness.
Especially women, we jump into conclusion like he got somebody else
glad
over
you
there.
Said that. I'm glad you said that because I have talked about the same thing. It seems like when there's a question, our minds always go to the bad stuff. You know, we always think the negative, and then we find out that wasn't true.
It was another. Another thing happened.
Did you have good internet in your area?
Oh no, I have to climb a tree. Can you imagine? I have to climb a guava tree, guys. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. I have to go up there on the tree and like, ooh, okay, now, right there. It's so difficult. Oh Lord.
Slide over this way.
It's not like, now I think it must be better because we're more high tech and more advanced, but
now you can just get on a ladder instead of a tree.
In my days, I have to climb a guava tree, mango tree, whatever tree is available.
I love it. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
In the cities, not so much, but when you're in the province, it's hard to find signal.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
You know, even in the cities, when I was staying in Manila,
you have
I was on the 43rd floor of the condo that I was in.
Oh.
You didn't get a signal on the 43rd floor. You know,
so
you had to go down lower to get a signal.
It's not just me, good.
You had to go up a tree, I had to come down.
I have to climb up a tree. You have to go down a little. I think you're way too high.
Now, you said that you talked to him about a year before he came over?
Yes, and there's a lot of misunderstandings and stuff during the whole year, because it's like getting to know each other. And
it's a different culture.
A very different culture.
And everything is different, and it's easy to misunderstand something.
Oh, yeah.
And some words to you mean something totally different to us.
Right.
And, you know, I'll give you an example. First time I was talking to my wife, she said she had a girlfriend. I'm thinking, what? I mean, is this like, you know, does she got like does she date this girlfriend or what? Because, you know, it was just different the way that she said it. And I found out that over there,
your girlfriend is just your
girlfriend
female
is just your friend. Over
yes,
here, your girlfriend is your girlfriend.
Yes.
You know? So it'll kind of throw you every now and then when you get into some of that, you know.
I have a girlfriend.
When your family actually, now they knew you were talking to him online, right?
Yes.
So when they actually met him, were they a little more at ease after they met him?
He's a quiet guy, and he's mellow, so they're at ease with him. And he's very obedient. You let him eat anything, he will eat it. So my mom was so happy. We gave him some bitter gourd, and he just chomped it up, and then like swallowed it and pretended it was really, really good. So when we went back to the hotel, I asked him, was the bitter gourd really good? And he's like, no, it was so bitter. I just swallowed it, and I don't want to offend your mom. He just ate whatever my mom gave him. It was so funny.
Well, I know going around that I would try different food. Mm-hmm. And funny things can happen sometimes. The first thing that I actually ever tried was fried squid.
Oh.
And it was on the street. and went up and I bought the squid, and I asked them how much it was, and I think they said 20 pesos. Mm-hmm. So I got the squid, and as I started to walk off, the lady behind me was buying some squid, and she said, how much? And I said, 5 pesos. So I learned 2 things that day.
It's more expensive for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I learned there's a thing called a skin tax.
Aha! If you're white,
If you're white,
you're higher priced.
you're going to pay more. I don't care where you go, you're going to pay more. You just expect it, okay? And but then I found some of the food that I would eat, I really loved it. Mm-hmm. And some of the food I would look at and I go, no, thank you.
No, I can take that.
Before you came to America, had you ever flown on an airplane before?
Oh yeah, I worked in Hong Kong, so
Worked in Hong
I've been
Kong.
flying back and forth.
A lot of the Filipino ladies work in Hong Kong, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's the closest one, and I didn't want to work far away, like in the Middle East or something scary. So Hong Kong is one of the safest countries to work for when I was young.
I wonder about now. I know a lot's changed over there
Yes,
now.
after they turned it over to
China.
China.
I still know a lot of people working in Hong Kong that's been working there for, oh my goodness,
years
25,
and years,
30 years. Even have a relative that's working in Dubai that's been in Dubai like 35 years.
Oh wow.
And comes home
I
just
don't
every
know.
once in a while.
I'm scared of that area. Middle
Yeah,
East.
I've often wondered about that. You know, I
Yes.
ask her, and it goes back to being careful of where you are and watching your
because
surroundings.
they have different
rules
and laws. So it's
Which is a good point. When you go to a foreign country,
Yes.
you need to kind of brush up on some of the strange laws.
Yeah.
And what I mean by strange laws, in Dubai, you better not be kissing out in public.
No.
You better not be holding hands out in public.
Right.
It can get you put in jail.
Also, if you go to Singapore, you cannot throw gum anywhere. You go to jail for that.
Correct.
So every country has different rules.
I actually saw in Hong Kong somebody throw a gum wrapper on the ground, and the police got them. Mm-hmm. And the place was really clean where we were in Hong Kong.
Yeah, they're really very good at that.
Had you ever driven an automobile
You mean here or in the Philippines?
when you were in the Philippines?
Oh no. I'm spoiled. I always ride the tricycle or the jeepney or the bus. But no, I've never.
So that was something you had to learn once you got here.
I have a funny story with that because my husband works night shift. So during the day he's asleep, right?
Right.
So he can only train me to drive during the day. So he gave me the car keys. He said, "Here, start the car, drive." Man, that was my first time driving the car.
lesson?
All I know was
Your
how
first
to
lesson was drive.
put gas on the vehicle. So I was driving down the highway and I said the light turned yellow. So can I still go? Can I still go? He was snoring beside me. He was sleeping. So I stopped right there in the middle of in between the light and the line, and he was yelling at me because he woke up and like, go, we're gonna get run over. I'm like, you really have a death wish? It was so funny.
Driving in the Philippines is certainly different than driving here.
The traffic is definitely
It's
crazy.
It's hard to believe sometimes when you're sitting in a jeepney. Of course, the windows are open on the side, and you can just reach out to the jeepney next to you and tap somebody on the arm and say, "What time is it?"
Side to side.
Yeah, sometimes you're only inches away.
Yeah.
And it's just so different than here, you know.
Here the traffic is so relaxed. Over there, I probably have a heart attack driving. In Manila especially, oh Lord.
I had heard there's a sign on the outskirts of Manila that says, "If you've never driven in Manila, don't start today."
Yeah. I would not try.
What about the people that live there? Do a lot of them have cars, or what's their main transportation?
There's always public transportations, but of course the richer ones have their own vehicles. They have cars, trucks that they use for their personal use. But most people, like me, I'm a poor people, we just take public transportations. Like you can just hail a taxi cab, tricycle, jeepney, bus.
I kind of liked it because you didn't have to worry about putting gas in your car. You didn't have to worry about checking the
the wear and
tires.
tear of your car.
Yeah, the wear and tear, no oil
insurance.
change, no nothing. Just say, "Hey."
When I got here and I had started driving, I'm like, man, this is a headache. I have to watch my car. Like, oh, the water is low. Over there, you just sit on the car, pay them. You're all done.
And nothing to it.
Yeah,
I agree.
You get from A to B.
I really like the mass transit a whole lot better than our
I
system
wish they would
here.
have it here, like a bus that would bring us
Well,
anywhere.
one of the things is here, things are spread out so far.
Yeah.
You know, over there, you can go to the mall, you can go shopping,
In minutes.
and only be just right in one little walking distance. Over
just
here,
walk.
you might have to walk 5 or 10 miles to get to the same thing. You
I wonder
know.
what time I'd get there if I
How
walk.
when you first came here, were you a little surprised at how long it took to get here?
Oh yeah, it was very long and very tiring. It took like almost a whole day, like 24 hours.
And there's
Yeah,
one,
the
one
wait.
plane.
Yeah, one plane and then another plane and then another plane.
another
I'm
plane,
like,
and
how many more planes?
Does
And
this
then-
ever end?
And then when I got here, I remember I flew in to Gulfport Airport, and I was so surprised. Their airport is so small. I was like, this is it? One exit and you're out there. And I'm like, Manila Airport is so big. And Hong Kong Airport.
That's a good point. What is it like when you go into Manila Airport the first time? Do you remember ever being there the first time?
Oh my God, it was very stressful because there's Naiya 1 and Naiya 2. And for some reason, the driver got confused to where to drop me off.
Yeah.
So I was like, drop me off in the domestic when I was going to the international. So it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, you got different levels.
Yes, and I'm like, where do I go? It's so confusing.
When you walk in and there's more people in the airport than live in your city back home. You know?
That's true.
Oh my goodness. What was your biggest surprise when you came to America? What shocked you the most?
Cultural shock. And just like I told you, when I first landed in Gulfport, my expectation is like what you see in the movies, like California, New York, big
Right.
cities, big tall
Skyscraper,
buildings,
yeah.
yes, lights everywhere. My husband was driving me through the forest, and I'm like, is he a serial killer? I kid you not. I was so scared for my life. We were driving in a dark street, and I'm like, where is he taking me? Because I was expecting big, bright lights and
I've heard that
tall
before.
buildings.
People say that when they got here, they would say, where are the big buildings?
Yes, because in the Philippines, we are so accustomed watching Southern movies, and we see that tall buildings in the movies, and we have that in our mind that, oh, when I get to America, that's what I'm gonna see. But no, when you go to Mississippi, you don't see that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was like, where are we?
What are the major differences living here than living back at home that you see? What's the biggest differences?
Over here, you're poor but you're rich. In the Philippines, if you're poor, you're really poor. Over here, we're poor but we have the food that we need. You know, you can buy the food, you can buy your clothing, and you can afford your housing. But in the Philippines, if you're poor, you're really poor. You cannot buy food.
Do you think that the Filipinos think that all Americans are rich? Do they have that thought?
Honestly, that's my perception too. When I started talking to my husband, oh, Americans have money, you know. But no, that's not true.
Well, they have more money than the people in the
Yes.
Philippines, but it just costs so much more to live
Yes,
here.
the cost of living is too much, and you get taxed everywhere you go here.
Yeah.
You work, you get taxed. You go buy groceries, you get taxed again.
Go buy gas, you get
You buy gas,
taxed.
you get taxed again, and you have insurance to pay, car insurance, house insurance, health insurance. You almost have nothing left to your pocket.
You just
for your
begin to feel like
day-to-day.
it's all about insurance.
Right? And it's a scam, I think.
I do too. I
Because
agree.
when you claim, your insurance jacks up. And I'm like, how did that happen? I have 10 years of no claim. And then, so I think it's
Believe me,
pretty much a scam.
I know what you're talking about. How do you think, in your mind, being married to an American would be different from being married to a Filipino? How would it be different?
For me, because growing up, I've seen neighbors get married to the Filipinos, and all I see is them drinking in the streets. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just how I was being introduced to the world in
Okay,
our
I think
environment.
you're probably
Yeah, so-
right on target.
So growing up, I keep thinking I'm not gonna get married to a Filipino because I'm just gonna get married to a drunk and who don't want to work. Then let the wife work and support the family. So I'm like, that's what came to my mind. It's because it was how do you call it? It was what I see growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was surprised one time when I was asking a lady about her husband, and I began to find out that the men, if I'm correct, tend to kind of push the women to go get the jobs and do things, and then they stay at home.
Yes, that's what I have seen before.
And
So it's like
and I learned that watching the children over here, somebody would say, "Well, we're watching the children. Don't worry, we're watching the children." They said watching the children means that when the man is watching TV and the child walks between him and the TV, they watch the child a second and then they go back to watching the TV.
that is true. Very true. That's the way they watch the kids.
Has living in America been what you hoped it would be?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because I have opportunities here that I don't have in the Philippines. And no, because I haven't reached my goal yet. I'm still working on it though. So
Are you able to help the family back at home by sending a little money back to them?
yes,
Or anything
little
like that?
yeah, especially because they need it, and sometimes in emergencies you really
I
have to
think a
help.
lot of Americans, since they haven't been to the Philippines, don't realize what it's like there.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to work for a full day over there, and it might be 8 hours, 10 hours for $10
Yes.
or less.
That's
A lot
all
of times
you
in
get.
province, it might only be $6 a day.
Yeah.
It's really hard to feed your family and pay your rent, and pay
Yeah,
for
that's why a lot-
electricity and water, and
Yeah, that's why a lot of us go abroad to work
you know.
to earn more than what you earn in the Philippines.
Do you feel like that living in America has changed your life, and in what way?
Oh yes, it has.
What way?
Definitely. First off, I got 2 beautiful children. It changed my life, and also I feel more comfortable living here. I might go visit the Philippines once in a while for vacation.
Oh, I want to ask you that. Have you been able to go back home? And
It's been a while. I've been home in 2010.
2000? Oh, it's changed a lot.
It's 14 years that I haven't gone home.
When I went in 2017 and then went back again in 2022, I could see a lot of changes in
Yeah,
that
I
amount of
bet.
time, and so it's growing. When we say growing, my goodness, the amount of people there,
Oh yeah.
it's just unbelievable. I mean, in Manila, we're only talking like 16 square miles, but 22 million
A
people.
lot of people.
And when you get out in the province, which we say out in the country, but if you get out in the
Yeah,
province,
out in the country.
even living in the province now, there's pretty good sized towns.
Yeah.
There might be a town out in the province of 50, 60, 70,000 people
Yes.
that they consider out in the country.
That's where I came from, out in the country.
Out in the country. All right. One more question. If you were going to give advice to somebody that was thinking about a long distance relationship, either just because they wanted to experience it or maybe because they truly wanted to get married,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them? Is it a bad idea, a good idea? What would you tell them?
Oh, if your heart is really into it, then go for it. But if you are like 50-50, then you better not. Because sometimes the adjustment is really hard.
Can be.
Yeah.
Yes, it can be.
Most people give up during the adjustment period. But if you really want to work on that relationship, you just keep going.
I think
and
if you approach it with the
with
right
positivity,
attitude,
yes.
positivity
if you're
and the right
positive
attitude,
about it, you can get past that adjustment period.
you know. I said that was the last question, but I want to ask you one more because this pops into my head. We was talking about marriage.
All right.
How do you feel about the age difference? You know, you always hear Filipinos say, age is just a number. And for Americans, we always hear gold digger. But over
Yeah.
there, they don't feel that way. How do you feel about the large age gaps that you saw?
I'm very biased.
Okay.
But sometimes if the young girls want the elderly gentleman, of course you're gonna think, oh, that's just a sugar daddy. This is a stepping stone.
Older people like us, 35
Yes,
or 40 years old.
But sometimes, I know, right? But sometimes love do happen between the age gaps, you know. Me and my husband have 11 years of age difference, and it's pretty okay. It works out because he's more mature than I am.
Yeah.
Because they usually say men mature slower than women, so that age gap counteracts with it. It kind of works out.
Kind of worked out.
Yeah.
I was always amazed, you know, when I went to a place in Clark, a restaurant that I really liked, and there was a lot of men from Australia in there.
Oh.
And a lot of them were 75, 80 years old, and they'd say, would you like to see my girlfriend? I'd say, well, sure. And they'd break their phone out, and I'd
18
look,
years old?
and it'd be a girl that was like 21 or 20 years old, 22 years old. They'd say, this is my girlfriend, you know, and I'm going, oh my goodness. I got to process that.
I know, right?
Well, Roxanne, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you
And I
so
appreciate
much
you
for having
sharing
me.
with us and telling us, you know, things from your point of view, because I really think it helps the people that we're talking to
Right.
get an idea of what to expect if they go to the
Yes.
Philippines. And they're not as surprised, or they're still going to be shocked.
They're still going to be shocked because really the cultural
The
shock
culture.
is,
The culture is going to shock you. I don't care how prepared you are.
The
so.
first few weeks when I got here, I was like ready to go back home. I have no rice.
No, right.
But
Yes.
Filipinas love rice, so
I
if
used to
you...
buy a little pound pack of rice about every 3 months.
Yeah,
Then all of a sudden,
you have to buy that
we're
20.
buying the 25-pound bag, and it don't last a month, you know? It's
That's my
gone.
additional advice to you guys. If you're gonna marry a Filipina, buy a big bag of rice, a rice cooker
A rice
before
cooker.
she gets over here.
Yes.
She's gonna cry if she
A
don't have rice.
cooker. I didn't even know what a rice cooker was.
Yeah, rice cooker and rice, very important.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Roxanne.
Have a good
It's
one.
been so much fun.
Thank you.
All
Thank
righty,
you for
we'll
having
be
me.
seeing you on the next video, so just slide on over and check it out.
Yes, sir.